Main objective is to collect tapes, audio logs, as is the wont of most indie games. Usually horror games, but in this case, kind of an action game, although it can be kind of spooky sometimes. I know I've gotten jump scared by this more from getting shot than a lot of other horror games I've played. So you'll see here, the main crux of the game is this bad boy right here. So if you look in the top right, you'll see that there's a lot of individual things that I can do with this gun. So it's not just R to reload and then point and bang, bang, bang. I have to pop the hammer open, fill it up all the way. I can cock the hammer, decock the hammer, holster the weapon, bring the weapon back out. You know, seems pretty simple, but when you're trying to do all this and not get shot by these things, it can be kind of complicated. Especially when you start working on it, handguns that have, you know, magazines and whatnot. Actually, cock this hammer here. Take that out there. So these little turrets can be taken out by knocking out their sensors. Usually the most effective way that I've been able to do so. These ones I usually get by no problem. It's once you get into the later levels where you're fighting the flying ones, a lot harder to hit. So here we go. Here you'll see and hear our first tape that we come across.
When the mind kill comes, you will likely have forgotten everything about your own life before entering the post-mind kill environment. But everything that has become intuition, everything you've made a part of your inner self, the threat, is unable to erase. Therefore, it's important to train until the training becomes so natural that you give it no thought. Correct usage of your firearm has to become as natural as breathing for there to be any chance of success.
So, as you heard him talk about there, it was the mind kill, which I'm assuming this is some sort of like quasi-dream / virtual situation that you've dropped yourself in. It's meta, of course. The narrative isn't strung together super well. You're training in this instance to become some agent of righteousness, I think. Again, I haven't beat the game, so I can't tell you exactly what it all means. But mostly you just run around and shoot some stuff. I know those black floppy disks are like diary entries, but we'll go ahead and take a look at one. This one here. Yeah, I think just flavor text and stuff like that. And of course, since this is a training environment for your receiver abilities, there's balloons to shoot. Just dump this. So as you saw there, and as we'll probably see more as we play through, the operations of the handguns themselves aren't always perfect. Like when I tried to empty my cylinder, all the bullets didn't fall out. You'll find you will get jams. We have misfires. Whoa, almost got shot by that. Sometimes you go to cock your hammer and it won't cock all the way and will instead fire your weapon. So this game is somehow, I would say realistically, managed to simulate those sorts of mechanics in guns, which I feel like a lot of games don't approach, because then it turns into a numbers game. But since this game is not, you know, all 9 or multiplayer or anything like that, you know, a gun jam isn't going to piss somebody off because my gun jammed and his didn't or anything like that. This should be our last tape for this tutorial.
It is vital that you know that you are not dreaming. This is real. This is the time you have prepared for.
And move on to the first actual level, which is Sleeper, I think. Oh, Baseline, okay. And the next one is Sleeper. I don't think I've ever made it past the second difficulty stage. Oh, there's also different, obviously there's different handguns. That last one we had, this is the Smith & Wesson Model 10, I believe it said. I know you can end up with a 38 Detective Special, and then the Glock 17, and maybe a Colt 1911. There might be more later on, but like I said, I haven't gotten super far in this game. Let's go ahead and fill the gun. Actually, let me decock that while I run. Because again, sudden movements and things like that can cause your weapon to misfire. So it's all about being careful. I know if I was to try to holster my gun too quickly without having the hammer decocked, I can shoot myself in the leg and kill myself. Really, honestly, you're just as much a danger to yourself as the robots are. There we go. Oh. Another tape.
You have seen the signs around you. The gradual creeping decay.
Ah, damn. I got caught up on the scaffolding. Okay, yeah, see, now we're loading up with the detective special. One thing I'm not a huge fan of is the... I mean, you can almost call it a roguelike, just because you reset after your round and you go back. Like, so we are at the baseline level right now. If I get to the next one and die, I come back to the baseline again. So, and I imagine if you go up to like the third or the fourth difficulty, that happens as well. So it becomes sort of a game of attrition. Alright, let's see. There's one over there. So you'll notice this game can be kind of dark. It's more to your benefit, really, than detriment, because everything has a sort of spotlight that you can use. And your flashlight, which I just picked up there, is actually easier for them to spot. Let me actually... So, I didn't mean to hurt myself, but I did. Once again, just as much a danger to yourself as the robots are. Huh. That must be new. I don't recall being able to do that. Let's see what this says. I will say, warning, trigger warning for people. There is some themes of suicide and self-harm throughout this game that we'll talk about more when we first come across it, if we come across it. But just kind of be warned, there is some fucked up shit that can happen. Which I know you're probably thinking, this is just walking around shooting robots with a gun. How does that come into play? I was surprised as well when I first saw it. I think this game could benefit as well from like some smaller, I don't know, puzzles or something. And again, it's just a small indie title. I think the guy made it. I think the same guy who voiced it made it as sort of just a project. The first Receiver definitely didn't have this much polish in it, and it might be this guy's like just brainchild to have made a second one, because I know I played the hell out of the first one. But I would love to see like a full, more fleshed out game with these sort of gun mechanics implemented. Let's see what this says.
To safely carry a powerful concealed weapon like the Detective Special, the first thing you have to do is forget everything you've ever seen in a movie. Pretty much everything they do is dangerous and incorrect. For example, movie badasses often carry guns tucked into their waistband in the small of their back, which is a great way to make sure that slipping on a patch of black ice will put you in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. Normally, a fall like that would just bruise your back, but now you have a block of steel directly over your spinal cord, like a hammer on an anvil. What about a horizontal shoulder holster? Sure, if you want to constantly muzzle sweep your family and friends and everyone standing behind you in line. What about a purse or backpack? Yeah, that works, if you don't mind someone taking it and having a free gun registered in your name. The only safe way to concealed carry a loaded sidearm is to use a rigid, molded holster that protects the trigger and any exposed controls. If you don't have a holster, you can only safely carry a semi-auto without a round in the chamber. You have seen the signs around you. The gradual creeping, decay, and dysfunction. You have realized that something is wrong with the media around you. You know that you are different. This is why you are ready to become a receiver. You have been issued a series of audio cassette tapes that are part of our system for advancing insight. By continually listening to these tapes, you will drown out and eventually counteract the negative influences from your environment. Once you have absorbed these tapes, you will have taken the first step towards awakening your true self. The media is a threat. We have a technique to help. We use tapes as part of this technique. You must listen to them to advance.
Okay, so we picked up 2 tapes there, so they got queued up. The first one talking about gun safety and how people are usually pretty dumb in media. That's one of the agendas this game kind of talks about, is gun safety, which, I mean, it's one of the few video games to actually do so props for that. The second one, again, is this sort of like somehow running around shooting robots with a gun is to like get you woke from how shitty the media is some way. I don't know. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. And I know that not to like toot my own horn, and I make this look easy. This is because I have a lot of practice with operating these weapons, and as you can see, I still mess up my inputs sometimes. It's also a good game if you want to practice your ability to just dance across the left side of your keyboard and hit every button from Q to Y. Keep a lookout for tapes, because they sometimes do bunch up and have them close by each other. I also think this game would benefit from a like sort of map builder mechanic. Like give us sort of a basic layout and then let us plop the turrets around wherever we want and balloons and just make a fun little shooting gallery type thing. But I'm sure that's not really the point. I'm sure there's some grand design this guy's going for. I mean, it works. It's a nice, just fun little stress relief game, in my opinion.
While physical training is less important than mental conditioning, receivers know that the two are linked. To move the body requires thought and focus, and similarly, certain actions and physical situations induce specific states of mind. By training one, you train the other. I can't this meaningless existence anymore. There's no point to anything. We're just killing time until the heat death of the universe. Nobody will remember us. Nobody cares if I live or die. All of humanity is just mold on an orange. I don't even know why I'm writing this. Goodbye.
I just realized when I said trigger warning earlier, that's I guess a bit of a pun. I didn't mean it as one. But yeah, and again, I don't know this. I mean, this might be this guy's, you know, his artistic expression, his way of dealing with things. But there's a couple things like that. If you start to notice in the audio log get a little intense, the voice of threat will take over and it will try to get you to kill yourself with the gun. I guess it's kind of showing the full scope of, you know, what guns are actually used for, unfortunately, whether it be combating other things or taking your own life or anything like that. Oh. Damn it. Too dark to see. I should have just used my flashlight. Yeah, I know the first time I saw that voice of threat kick in, I had a semi-automatic. And it unloaded 6 shots before I actually died. It was a little gruesome. There's another mechanic I don't quite understand if you look here, be close to the light. One of my chambers has been plugged, and I don't know if that's some sort of punishment for dying, but it doesn't happen every time that you die. Just every now and again you'll have a plugged chamber, and I don't fully get it. It happens with your magazine too on semi-automatics. The magazine will be limited to however many shots. That is one of my favorite things to do, though. The glass in this game is amazing. If you actually look at the Steam page on the 7th of July, he actually released, I think, a video talking about how they made the glass in this game. Actually, let me... Might as well just refill now. Oh, whoops. Thought that was my plug chamber. See, this one, the barrel rotates clockwise, and the Model 10, it rotates counterclockwise. Again, something I have to take into account here. Oh, man. There we go. There we go. It's kind of meticulous, but doing that can be the difference when you suddenly get sprung up on by 2 robots, 2 turrets, especially when you get the flying ones. Oh. So, momentum in this game is a thing. So, when I jumped up on there, I let go of forward, but he was still moving forward, so he just yeeted himself off the walkway there. Very fun. Alright, let's... Another plugged barrel. This one rotates. Yep. I could do this manually with the mouse wheel by opening the chamber and rotating it, but I didn't. Okay, let's see here.
This building, this place, it doesn't make much sense. Like, while I know this isn't the same room as before, it still feels familiar. It's more like a fictional place than the real world. It's like someone made copies of copies and lost the original intent of all the objects long ago.
Is that your excuse for boring level design? No, I'm kidding. I mean, it's varied enough. It's definitely better than the first one. It's just kind of funny because there is a lot of sort of samey looking environments in here. But again, you're walking around shooting robots.
You have seen the signs around you.
Okay, so
the gradual
we've heard this one before.
Decay.
Is there a way to skip the tape?
You have realized that something is wrong with the media
Guess not.
and the people around you. You know that you are different. This is why you are ready to become a receiver. You have been listening to these tapes. You will drown out and eventually counteract the negative influences from your environment. Once you have absorbed these tapes, you will have taken the first step towards awakening your true self. The media is a threat. We have a technique to help. We use tapes as part of this technique.
Guess that window's a lot solid, or more solid than the other one.
To advance.
So I saw the cut there. I looked up to see if it's possible to skip the tapes because we've heard that one already once, but unfortunately, no. It's kind of what this whole game is built around, is the tapes, so it kind of makes sense. Okay. Although I did see something that's kind of concerning, and I want to try this. When I was looking... Oh, okay. So, note, K kills yourself. I thought maybe it would do the thing where he turns the gun on himself and fires. Nope, you just die. Whoops. Alright, let's try to take this one a little more seriously. I want to try to at least progress to the next level in this part. Another plugged barrel. Cool. Or plugged cylinder, I should say. If I want to be totally honest, the reason I started playing the first Receiver game, because the first Receiver game is very much the same, it doesn't look as pretty, but it's the same turrets, same flying robots, and the same point is the operation of the gun, although I don't think the jams were as well implemented as they are in this one, and the misfires and all that. But I started playing it because I'm kind of a gun nerd, and I always wanted to play a game that had realistic operation of the firearms. And at the time, I didn't have a VR headset. I have a first-gen Oculus at the moment, so it's not great. But I got it because I wanted to play the Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. Just love that game, and I have mad respect for Anton as a developer. Whoop. Don't die. But back before I could afford my first VR headset, I wanted to play something that still had that, you know, sort of a gun simulator type experience. So I started playing the first Receiver. So between that and this game, I actually got the Oculus, and I mean, this game's still fun enough to where I go and play it even when I have that option. Got it. But I might get around to recording
the
that.
Signs around you. The gradual creeping, decay, and dysfunction. You have realized that something is wrong with the media and the people around you.
Definitely something wrong with the people.
You know that you are different. This is why you are ready to become a receiver. You have been issued a series of audio cassette tapes that are part of our system for advancing insight. By continuing listening to these tapes, you will drown out and eventually counteract the negative influences from your environment. Once you have absorbed these tapes, you will have taken the first step towards awakening true self.
See? It's not labeled as a horror game, but
it's a threat. We have a technique to help. We use tapes as part of this technique.
Damn it.
You must listen to them to advance.
Fucking turn away, you dick. Can't get a good sight line. Okay, there's his scope. Okay. Oh, I was probably like a second away from getting shot there. Jesus. Never forget your bullets. Ooh, can I make that shot? Hey, there we go. I think I saw one of the spotlights. Yep, up there. Ooh, boy. Pop that first. Can I get him through the floor, actually? Might be able to. Nope. Nope. Got it. Cool. Alrighty. Also, another thing. Maybe some more, since this guy seems to be really good at it, some more destructible environment type stuff. I know you can shoot through this wood here. Not that you really ever need to. The robots definitely do sometimes. But, I mean, jumping and breaking through the glass is actually kind of fun. You also have ankles that are made out of glass, so like if I was to jump from here to the bottom of those stairs, I'd probably die. But I think, you know, like, having some stuff that makes you feel more like you're playing something like Super Hot, you know, a little bit more actiony, wouldn't go remiss. Again, I mean, I love this game for what it is. But I just think since they're pushing the whole operating of the handgun safely, but I think also putting you under like a more stressful situation where, you know, things are coming for you and you have to move and operate the gun and reload and all that stuff all at the same time. And who knows, I mean, maybe in the later difficulties that might be a thing. I haven't made it all that far into this game yet. It's fairly difficult, which is why. Is there a tape down there anywhere? No, I think that's just bits of him. Okay. Jesus. I'm leaning as if that's actually going to help not get shot. Can I go? Nope. Booger man. What is that? See, like, those flavor texts lead me to believe that there was, because they say they're from previous receivers. I have to wonder if, like, this is like, if the people who were here before me like, considered this some sort of purgatory, and the guy who's talking about missing his little girl is the one who we talk about being, who in the tapes is suicidal.
In the face of regret, understand that there was no other way that events could have played out. All you can do is learn from the experience and move on.
Oops.
While some concepts are useful, others are the exact opposite. These terminating thoughts take complex and useful ideas and turn them into a simplistic cliché that is as incorrect as it is useless. The appeal of these thoughts is that they give a false feeling of certainty and authority, but they block true mental development. The functional mind questions and observes. It looks inward at the form of ideas applied in the mind as well as outward in the world. It views uncertainty as the twin sibling of curiosity. The dead mind is constructed of terminating thoughts. There is no room for feelings beyond a thin, fragile mockery of self-satisfaction. Personality is replaced with rote, checkbox ticking behavior and reactivity. Human interaction becomes a grotesque parody where anything that doesn't fall neatly into a simplistic taxonomy of behavior gets ignored or assaulted. This causes a person to become less and less until ultimately they vanish. Experiences are feelings connected to events. If an event that creates negative feelings happens often enough, or is especially intense, it can create a phobic reaction. Even after distancing oneself from these events, these phobic elements can persist. Thoughts flow from one to the next, like water flowing down a river. And like water flowing, these thoughts can carve through stone, given enough time. Trauma is like a boulder in the river, and over time, a correct sequence of thoughts can cut and shape it, eventually allowing them to pass safely and smoothly around them.
Okay, now that he's done talking, because I queued up 2 videos there. Especially with that first one, like, I don't know if it's just me, and I'm not really one to hear other people's, like, I don't know, opinions on how people should live their lives and be more open-minded. I definitely was once upon a time when I was younger, like, 15. Because, I mean, all I could think about is, like, man, I would have totally empathized with all the shit this dude's saying, like, 6 years ago or something. But now all I can think of is just, like, posting these audio clips to the subreddit, I'm 14 and this is deep. Maybe it's because he lays it on a little thick. Can't get a good sight on this guy. Is there anything I take cover with out there? Okay, let's just go for it, yeah? Whew, there we go. You were in an inconvenient spot, sir. My favorite part. Impulsively reload. Oh, almost ran past the left tape. Well, do it anyway, because
the most important virtue of a receiver is mental resilience, and the only way filled with that is to practice sounding from the.
There we go. We are now to the rank of asleep. I will laugh if the last one is actually called woke. But, yeah, I think that's good. I think we'll pick up the next level next time. Peace.